So I am finally doing another Gintama related video. This is not a troll. This is by no means a troll. I'm going to be taking the time to discuss some of my favorite moments of Gintama thus far. Now, all these different moments are just certain moments that stood out so far from my journey of Gintama. And I just want to take a couple of moments to mention them, and, you know, when I get really far in later on to Gintama, I'll probably make another updated video on other great moments I have seen from the series. But at the moment, I just want to, you know, pinpoint a couple of moments from Gintama I have seen thus far that just really stand out. And this video section, I guess, is going to take place between the first 100 episodes. I'm going to save the next part of, like, the next video for 100 episodes between 200 episodes. And then I'll save part 3 of this type of segment of videos for 200 between, like, 260 something. So, there should be around 3 videos that is related to Gintama in the near future that will be me discussing Gintama arcs and stuff like that. Maybe not officially reviewing them, but, you know, just sitting down and discussing Gintama and different things that some of these arcs have done for the characters and stuff like that. So this is going to be a slightly short mini-series I'll be doing for the next, you know, maybe a couple weeks from now, you know, till Gintama comes out. So anyways, just to get started, I want to take a moment to say, Gintama is the only anime series, or only series, not just specifically anime, it's the only series I have ever seen that can have it to where you can have an episode entirely about 4 characters sitting on a toilet, talking and communicating, and make it work. The Gintama is the only series I could see something like that happening, and it's amazing and breathtaking to see how Gintama as a story, plot, with its characters and comedy, it's almost flawless. It really is. Nothing's perfect, but Gintama, the way it mixes in all these different tones and vibes with the emotional scenes to the happy-go-lucky scenes to some scenes that really make you start thinking about life, and then other scenes to where you're like laughing your ass off with all these parodies. I mean, Gintama has so much to offer, and there's just so many different variety of arcs to really cover when it comes to Gintama. Like, if I was to specifically really dive into Gintama, some of these arcs and certain phrases or dialogue some of these characters have done since the very beginning of the series, I'll be talking to you guys for like an hour or two. It's impressively insane how good Gintama is with its quality, and it's kind of sad to see how Gintama, as I said in my first impressions, it doesn't get the respect it really deserves. I mean, I know there's a lot of fans of the series, and I know anyone that's probably watched the series and made it really far into it have loved Gintama quite a bit, but it's so sad to see how Gintama is kind of not as well known in the States or whatever compared to Naruto, One Piece, or Bleach, and to see how Gintama is slightly shafted compared to some of these titles, it kind of makes me sad, because honestly, in terms of enjoyment value, I want to be real here, I haven't actually enjoyed a series this much since me marathoning One Piece. Yeah, that's how good of entertainment I'm getting from Gintama. I remember the first time I sat down and watched One Piece for the first time. I marathon, oh my god, like 30 fucking episodes a day. It was ridiculous. And Gintama is starting to become something like that towards me. Like, I'm starting to want to marathon that many episodes a day just because it's getting so damn good. The comedy, the serious tones with the character development, it's beautiful. It really is. And you cannot get enough of it when you sit down and watch the series. And it's sad. It's so sad how so many overlook this series thinking it doesn't have a plot. And Gintama does have a plot. It straight up does have a plot. And it is sad. It is really sad to see how some look at this series and think, oh, it's just an episodic series with comedy and stuff like that. There's no ongoing plot. And in the real terms of the story, there is story progression constantly going on in Gintama. Very subtle, but there is story progression going on behind the scenes of all these different, you know, arcs going on, and it progresses the story into a main conclusive point. I don't know the real in-game goal. I can kind of make pop shot theories of what most likely is going to happen towards the end of the series. I want to do that type of theory later on in the future videos, but I'm starting to see where the story is starting to go, and it really makes my mind blow away when you realize that a lot of these scenes from the beginning of the series has been hinting towards the main progressive plot, and all these other mini arcs are mainly just character development for our characters. Like, one arc I want to specifically point out was an arc that was focusing on Sogo and Toshiro. That arc right there, you probably know what I'm talking about, you watchers or readers of Gintama. It's an arc that focuses on Sogo's sister. That arc right there, just straight up fucking sad. By far, out of all the arcs I've seen, that's one of the arcs I will say that's a 10 out of 10. A masterpiece arc. That straight up is a masterpiece. And I saw a lot of, Chibits telling me that the arc in around episode 61, I think it was episode 59 through 61 or 62, it was the Benzuraka arc or whatever. I know I'm butchering the name, but it started with a B. It was like Ben something. And that arc, a lot of Chibits told me that's like one of the best arcs of the series. And I know the first movie is also focused on that arc. It's like remastered, which I have seen some of the scenes from the movie. But to see how this one arc was, like the Sogo Toshiro arc with the sister, that by far is one of the best arcs I have seen. Straight up. It brings emotions to an entirely new level when it comes to Gintama. Gintama isn't, I guess, new to the sadness theme or the sad vibes it gives you, because there's been sad vibes from Gintama since, like, probably episode 13, or even episode 22, 23, 24, 25, there's been some very sad moments in Gintama, really has been. I mean, and one thing I really respect about Gintama, and, episode 100 through episode, 1, like 1 through episode 100, the overall vibes some of these scenes give you, like, especially with the sadness or character deaths, it's quite shocking, because usually shonen, when you watch a lot of ongoing, long-running shonen, there's not a lot of character deaths. Let's be real here. There isn't. There's barely any character deaths in majority of shonen. I mean, there is. I'm not saying none have them, but I mean, there barely is any character deaths that really just get to you. And there is a lot of mini arcs in Gintama that have character deaths, and it really makes you question, like, oh my god, we just lost this fucking character. We're not going to ever have this character again. And it's amazing how Gintama could swap from a comedy segment that's parodying Dragon Quest to a scene that makes you want to bawl your eyes, like the robot arc. Oh my god, that robot arc with the Rocky theme, god, that right there was one of the best parodies of Gintama. I laughed my ass off at that. But the thing was, just to see how Gintama could flop from comedy to tragic in just under a couple of seconds, and do it properly with the awesome tone shifts, is something that not many writers, animators, or anime studios can do in general. Now, I don't know how the manga is. I have never personally read the manga, so I don't know how the manga handles the tone shifts, but when it comes to the anime, from what I have seen, it's breathtaking to see some of these tone shifts. It really is, because you have to be really good at animating things and putting music at the proper places and stuff like that to really nail some of these scenes, and it's beautiful when you see that. And I think I've pretty much fangasmed enough. So here's the thing: if you have yet to start Gintama, and this is your first video you've ever seen of Gintama, me, and you're wondering, should I watch this series? I did a first impressions a while back, and I will once again come forward and say this: Gintama is a type of series that mixes comedy, tragedy, romance sometimes, all sorts of different genres and themes into one bundle of greatness. Gintama is a series that you could easily misunderstand, and it wouldn't be a good series, but if you look deep enough into the series, and you know your anime, and you know some parodies, you will definitely love Gintama. And that is one reason why I think this is quickly becoming one of my favorite shonen, and I don't say that lightly either. I mean, it's quickly becoming one of my favorites, because I've never seen a shonen do comedy and sadness like Gintama does. I've never seen a shonen do it like it does in Gintama, and I have to clap for Gintama to be able to actually do something as good as it does. I have to compliment the writer, too. The writer of this series that manages to make some of these scenes, like, the Death Note related episode, to the toilet for people sitting in a toilet stall, and then you have the robot arc, and you have, the Sogo arc, and you have the freaking other arcs when it comes to the, what's the freaking explosive little robot thing? I forget the name. Oh my god, I'm gonna get butchered. I want to remember as soon as I finish this, video. It's very important. But the Armstrong cannon thing, like that right there, that's funny too. I love the fuck out of that. But yeah, I truly recommend Gintama. I do. It is a really damn good series. easily misunderstood, but if you can really get into it and enjoy it, you'll love it. Now, as always, comedy is subjective, and it depends on your taste in comedy if you love Gintama, but Gintama is not always just about comedy. But the main point when it comes to Gintama's comedy is parodies. And that is when a lot of people don't like Gintama. I feel like that's one of the main reasons, as I pointed out in my last, first impressions video, the main reason why I think some drop Gintama or do not like Gintama in general is because the comedy is usually nothing but parodies. And if you don't understand the parody or understand the joke, you're not going to laugh, you're not going to have fun. And that is the same that could be said about Gintama. And there's just so many parodies mixing. Like, there's some crazy parodies that were in the series. Like, I know there's a Berserk parody. I was like, what the fuck? Like, they had a Guts parody. I'm like, you kidding me? You fucking kidding me? It's just like, they had a Guts from Berserk parody, and I was like, no way. And I mean, they've had some crazy shit. They really had. And so, it just depends. It really depends on your taste in comedy and if you can understand the parodies. But regardless of that, I think this is pretty much enough for my discussion video of Gintama's episode 100 through, I'm doing it actually backwards. Episode 1 through 100. It's been very fun. It's been very, 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 very fun. And I plan on doing another video very soon that goes between 100 to 200. And so, yeah. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I mean, how do you feel about episodes 1 through 100? And also, actually, before I end this video, I know a lot of Chibits are going to ask, and so I'm just going to clarify this right now. If you want to watch Gintama, because there's going to be some like, oh, where do I watch Gintama? Where do I go? What site do you watch it on, Chibi? Where do you watch it, Chibi? Where do you watch it? All the episodes of Gintama are on Crunchyroll. If you want to watch Gintama, it's on Crunchyroll, okay? I'm just letting you know. It's a legal site. You can get a subscription, and you can watch every single episode in good quality on Crunchyroll. I'm just letting you know. That's why I'm watching all of Gintama right now. I'm just sitting back, chilling in my chair, and watching Gintama endlessly. So, yeah. I want to end this review, or, discussion video right here. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.